So since we talked about the Mario OVA on the Blockbusters show, it feels appropriate that we also talk about the other popular video game OVA from Sonic the Hedgehog. Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles aim to stop a scheme that would turn their sky realm into an underworld, plunging into the planet's core and the ruined Robotropolis city to confront Dr. Robotnik, unsure if he's ally or foe. Yes, long before there was a live-action Sonic the Hedgehog with a infamously terrible teaser trailer that made them have to go back and rework the movie so that it wouldn't look like a living nightmare, there was an attempt at making a Sonic movie in Japan that they eventually dubbed and brought over here. This was the late 90s. This was when they were starting to bring Sonic into the new generation. They were trying to make Sonic 3D with certain games. This movie in particular was actually released, I believe, the same day as Sonic Adventure 1. So that kind of explains a couple of things. Like, I'm gonna completely admit right now, I'm not the world's biggest Sonic expert. I only like a couple of the Sonic games. I'm not familiar with like Sonic comic lore or all the Sonic TV shows like Sonic X, or the only thing of Sonic Underground that I know about is that one clip from Vine Sauce Joel. We're not talking about the games, and we're not talking about any of the shows. I might reference them a little bit, but we're mostly going to be talking about this movie, which for the most part is its own entity. I mean, it has no connection to any of the previous animated Sonic cartoons, like any of the TV shows that were at the time, like Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog or Sonic Sat AM, which those are the two that I kind of know. I've seen a couple of episodes when they reran them when I was a little kid.
Snooping as usual, I see.
I didn't really grow up with them a whole lot, nor did I grow up with the Mario cartoons at all. The only thing I ever saw from the Mario cartoons as a really little kid was clips from old YouTube poops, and that was about it.
With a little piece of spaghetti on your overalls.
This movie is its own thing. And we know this right off the bat because it seems like this movie has its own rules and its own lore. Explain something that's going to come into play later in the movie, which, you know, just jumping ahead a bit, it's supposed to be Metal Sonic.
Finally, the only thing left to be done is to capture the essential life data from your counterpart. Then you will be complete, my Hyper Metal Sonic. When you awaken, kill him.
And I believe he was from Sonic CD, I think. Again, not too familiar with all the super deep-cut, intricate Sonic lore, so apologies in advance. But all you need to know is that he's going to be the bad guy of this movie, pretty much plays a major role in the third act, and he's just an evil robot version of Sonic. So, anyway, despite all that, we then cut over to Sonic and Tails' home, which is this island, which isn't like the Chow Garden from the Sonic Adventure games or anything like that. It's just an island that they live on. And in this movie, they live on a completely different planet that's not Earth or Mobius. It's its own separate world. It's its own separate entity. And, well, I thought it was interesting that they live on this island that has a bunch of like crashed rubble and stuff on it. It's apparently been there for years because it has like moss and shit growing on it. And one of the things that's there is the fucking spaceship from Star Trek, the Enterprise. It's just there. It was at that point I was thinking, holy shit, J.J. Abrams directed this. Not only is there Star Trek, but they're also on an island, so it's like Lost. But the two of them are just hanging out. Sonic is sunbathing while Tails is going out and catching some waves. And the first thing we notice is, in the dub of this movie, everyone apparently was really sick because Sonic and Tails talk with the most nasally voices of all time. Even more so than Jaleel White as Sonic.
It's a jet-propelled bodyboard. Come on, you want to try it out?
Not right now, thanks.
All right, I'll go use it myself.
Tails is just like a little kid with his new toy.
Seriously, they talk like this throughout the whole movie. Oh no, Sonic, what are we gonna do? I don't know, Tails, what do you think?
As Tails is catching some waves, he notices that there's this owl guy in a flying craft that's about to crash, and Tails is demanding that Sonic go save him. And Sonic in this movie, in the first half, is such an asshole. And honestly, that was one of the things I kind of appreciated, while it still felt like, okay, that's totally not what the character should be like. Even though Sega did make this movie, the Sega logo is like the first thing you see. But yeah, Sonic is an asshole in the first half of this movie. Like, this old guy is about to crash, and Sonic's just like, no, I'd rather just kick back sunbathing. It's not my problem, Tails.
I have some news for you.
Oh, not that old man again. Count me out.
Sonic, we've got to do something to help him.
You're the one who can fly. You do something.
Huh? You're no help!
Yeah, that was kind of interesting for Sonic's character. He's just an asshole for the first half of this movie. But anyway, they save the old man owl, that's his name. He's just Old Man. Old Man they save, and he tells them that he was sent by the president of this planet, and he says that Sonic is this planet's last hope because there's somebody they need to talk to. And of course, it turns out that person that wants to talk to them is Eggman, or Robotnik.
Mr. President, what's the urgent business?
It's been a long time, hasn't it? Good to see you again, Sonic.
Dr. Robotnik!
I also find it funny because there's this meme that was floating around a while ago from the Sonic X anime they had in the 2000s, where it was Eggman trying to take over the world, and he just has like this little placard thing on his desk that says President Eggman. And it just made me flash back to that. It's like, wow, Eggman, you know, he wants to take over the world, but he at least wants to be like, I'm not going to be a dictator. I'm going to do this diplomatically, all right? I'm going to be president. Because, you know, Supreme Leader Eggman or Robotnik or whatever, that just doesn't have the same ring to it. No. President Eggman is where it's at.
Just listen to those numbskulls. They're calling for me to be their new leader.
But what about me?
You, Mr. President, are my hostage.
Also, we get some new characters. We get the president guy, who definitely looks like he's out of like a 90s anime. He has like the kind of big goofy eyes that you'd see. And he has a daughter who's surrogate love interest for Sonic. I mean, they don't really do much with it. Thank God, because I don't know, it's, to me, it'll never not be creepy having Sonic romantically paired up with a human. Then again, anything with Sonic and romance is just, the internet has absolutely fucking just made that 10 times creepier, so yeah, whatever. And she's apparently like half monkey or cat. She has like a super long tail, and it's like, why does she have that? Fucking beats me.
This is about the entire planet of freedom, so you better do as I say.
No way.
Don't you care about pretty young Sarah?
Help me, Daddy!
Little Sarah. Sonic, please listen to whatever Robotnik has to say.
Oh, all right.
They also become reoccurring characters throughout the movie. Because, Robotnik launches into this huge exposition dump to Sonic about how they need to go to, was it Robo City or Robotropolis? It was one of those. It's another dimension entirely.
Metal Robotnik then sabotaged the robot generator, which creates the high voltage electricity for the entire city.
So they have to go to this Robo world to try and defeat it. And, I'll give this movie this. They did lean a little bit into stuff from the games. I mean, just like with the live action movies, they did keep the whole idea of the warp zone, where, you know, you go through the ring and you end up in another world altogether. So that was kind of a nice touch. End up in this alternate reality, and this is where they meet Knuckles, who is wearing an Indiana Jones hat, and he's like apparently some kind of like treasure hunter, which again, this is going off of like the little bit of research I did, but I guess that's a thing in the comics, is that Knuckles is like a treasure hunter. So if anything, I guess there's that. But they fight for a little bit. Of course, Knuckles becomes a good guy and joins them on their adventure to try and stop this this Robo Eggman. And this is a minor thing, because this is one of the things I do remember. Yeah, Knuckles can glide. He can't fly, but he can glide.
Knuckles!
Hey, I couldn't send you guys into that place alone. Let's go. Come on, what are you waiting for? We gotta get moving or that robot generator's going to explode.
Just like, okay, yeah, he has that ability. I mean, if you're familiar with the Sonic mythos, I guess, yeah, it makes sense, whatever, screw it. But it was just really funny every time because it's just like, you know, Tails, he can fly because his tails spin around like a propeller. Sonic, fastest thing alive, he can run really fast. Okay. Knuckles, he just goes like, and then just fucking floats. And every time he was floating, it just made me laugh because it's just such a funny visual. I also like this version of Knuckles just based on the fact that Knuckles was always one of my favorite characters in the games, and he feels a little bit more, like he's the natural born fighter, but he's also not just a fucking, you know, Mimbo, fucking buff, roided up fighter type who's really dumb. You know, it's, I mean, they sort of do that with the live action movies, but it's like, he's played by Idris Elba and he made the character really charming. But, you know, it's not like Sonic Boom or whatever, where it's just like, oh, he is the big, strong, dumb guy. You know, this is at least when Knuckles had a little more personality going on, so I kind of appreciated that. Conveniently, where they land out of the warp zone takes them to, like, just right where they need to be, so then they, you know, this is when they get into the fight with Knuckles, and then he joins them, and then they head off to this, like, Robo City. And, you know, it's this apocalypse wasteland where, like, not a single stretch of life can be found. But then they come across the giant robot, and, well, earlier on in the movie, you had it that Eggman and the president's daughter headed off in some kind of machine.
What is this?
Yahoo! Yeah! This is great, Robotnik! I get to drive first!
No, Sarah, don't touch it. Wait, stop. Don't play with it. Stop it, Sarah. That's so good.
And so, obvious twist is obvious. It turns out that the giant robot they're supposed to fight is the machine that they flew off in.
Sonic better enjoy his victory now, because once he gets to Robotropolis, he'll have to fight something far more evil than Metal Robotnik.
Also, there's this running gag that's sort of a plot point where you have it that Eggman really wants to marry the daughter because he wants to take over the world and he wants to, like, just basically wipe out all of existence, and then they would have to restart the human species.
What do you mean? Once Metal has destroyed the land of the sky, we'll be the only ones left. Then we can get married and live out the rest of our happy lives together, Sarah.
Yeah, he seems like a fully grown man with a fucking giant mustache, and she seems like many, many, many years younger than him. So I'd argue it's also pretty fucked up for her to be a pseudo love interest for a talking blue hedgehog, but you know, apples and oranges, potato, potato, tomato, tomato. Anyway, they defeat the giant robot. There's a hilarious image of Sonic giving the middle finger.
Robotnik! We have some business to take care of, but we can finish this game when we get back.
The dub, they tried to change it as much as they could, but I mean, I just absolutely love the fact that that's an image in this movie. This is a movie that really exists, that Sega produced, that has Sonic just flipping the bird. That is so funny. It seems their work is not yet done because in this Robo world there is yet another threat that is going to be awakened. This ends up releasing Metal Sonic. And so Metal Sonic, at first he flees, and then we have a scene where, like, he, you know, supposed to be threatening the old man, or at least that's what we think. Like, you see it from, like, his point of view, and he goes like, oh, like, Sonic, it's good to see you again, not realizing that it's Metal Sonic. And Metal Sonic slowly, like, walks towards him, and I'm like, oh my god, are they gonna kill this character? Holy shit.
Master Sonic, I wasn't expecting you back so soon. Master Sonic, is there something wrong? Wait, what are you doing? Stop!
But then Tails and Knuckles then go back to the island, and no, he didn't kill him. Instead, he forced the old man to dress up like Sonic, who doesn't wear clothes, but yeah, he makes him wear Sonic's favorite clothes, which is like typical 90s shit. Backwards cap, like bright neon yellow and pink, you know, skateboarder type clothes.
Those are Sonic's favorite clothes, so don't blame me if he gets mad at you.
Don't worry about it. He was here last night. He forced me to put on these clothes and then flew away without saying anything.
He flew away? Metal!
So at that point they realize that, oh, this couldn't be the real Sonic, this is Metal Sonic, so then they have to try and rush over there to try and help Sonic. But of course, ultimately what it comes down to, it's supposed to be Sonic versus Metal Sonic. And of course, this was all part of Robotnik's plan. He was gonna try and get them to basically awaken Metal Sonic so that they would fight. And, well, that's pretty much what happens. The last 20 minutes of the movie is basically an extended fight scene. And, of course, Tails and Knuckles are like, Sonic, let us help you. But, you know, Eggman's like, no, 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 they must do this one-on-one. And so it's Sonic versus Metal Sonic, and some of the action's pretty cool. I thought the action it goes on for a little long, but it's like, I mean, for a 50-minute movie, the last 20 minutes is an extended fight scene. But it's pretty cool. You get some cool shit going on here. Established that Metal Sonic is basically supposed to be the perfect clone of Sonic. And granted, they kind of did this in later games where you have it that like, oh, it's another alternate Sonic. There's just so many Sonic clones and Sonic variants. There's just so many of them. But, you know, Metal Sonic was like one of the first attempts at it.
Because Metal was programmed with all of Sonic's data. He knows everything. His likes, his dislikes, his personality, and all his thoughts. That's why he knew to come down here. And he even gave the old man his favorite clothes.
And so, ultimately, when the fight scene comes down, they also establish this fight scene takes place like in so many different areas all around the world. And you have it that they end up in the polar ice caps where there's this big machine that, if it's destroyed, could possibly wipe out all humanity. Even though it does end up exploding, it doesn't wipe out all humanity. I guess it didn't entirely blow up or whatever.
That's Daddy's rockets!
What'd you say? What's wrong? I think the door's stuck.
That's bad! The heat from the magma could make it explode! Daddy!
Mr. President!
But Sonic and Metal Sonic end up falling in, and, you know, Metal Sonic saves Sonic, and he also sacrifices himself because he falls into this like molten lava from the Earth's core that's rising up. And, you know, Sonic feels horrible to see his counterpart die. And I gotta say, I was actually feeling some real emotions on that part.
There is only one Sonic.
Metal Sonic, who is supposed to be just this like, he's like a Terminator Sonic, basically. He feels no emotion, no connection whatsoever. He has all of Sonic's memories and, you know, his likes and dislikes, but he's supposed to be this cold-blooded, fucking ruthless killing machine. But then he ends up developing a conscience, and, you know, they have this like real like T2 moment where the robot goes into the lava. All it was missing was him just doing the thumbs up like in T2. And Sonic is like, no, no! And like Tails and Knuckles are trying to save him before he ends up getting swept in by the lava. But, and the Metal Sonic's last line is like, there can be only one Sonic. I can't believe I'm saying it, but as dumb as this movie can be, I felt real emotion on that part, man. And then the movie ends exactly like you'd expect. Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles fly off to have yet another adventure, and Eggman is defeated, and so now he's gonna have to come up with another scheme that will carry on into another adventure, possibly.
I'm getting out of here, Knuckles! Hey, wait a minute, Sonic!
And that's pretty much it. That's the Sonic OVA. Overall, it's probably the best thing I watched for Blockbusters show all month. I mean, compared to FML and Jack, it's shorter, and it was way more entertaining. So, you know, you didn't have stupid YouTubers trying to make a movie and making the entire thing look like a crappy-ass student film, and you didn't have the tonal whiplash of Jack. You know, while this is not a perfect movie or anything, I would say that maybe if you're a Sonic fan, you'd like it, though that's debatable. Sonic fans are incredibly fucking cutthroat and picky about what they like. It's hard to gauge if you're, like, a casual or you're not familiar with the Sonic franchise if you'd like this. I mean, I consider myself a casual, I guess. I like the original Sonic games on Genesis, and I like Sonic Adventure 1 and 2 fine. And there's a couple of other ones. There's a few of the newer ones that I like And Sonic Colors I liked, and Sonic Generations I really liked. Maybe if you're not familiar with the franchise, this wouldn't hurt too much. I could see people not really liking it because at the end of the day, there is a bunch of really dumb, silly shit in this movie. But that being said, I liked some of the action in it. I feel like it's one of those things, I'm glad I saw it once, and maybe every once in a while I'll come back to it. I feel like if you're trying to go for more of a crowd pleaser, like you want something that the general public would probably like, you probably should check out the Sonic movies that they did recently, like the live action ones. I think those would probably be a little bit more your speed. But as far as a first attempt at making a Sonic movie, I thought it was fine. It's not perfect or anything. It's very stupid and tonally confused sometimes, but nowhere as much as Jack, which we looked at last time. I'll say this, compared to the other OVA I looked at, I liked it way more than the Mario OVA. I feel like the majority of that was just fine for the most part, but then the ending was really, really stupid and really, really insulting. Probably not as good as Sonic Sat AM, because I remember that one being really good. The few episodes I grew up watching, that was a really good one. But maybe it's sort of sandwiched in between. It's not as good as Sonic Sat AM, but the little I remember of how wacky Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog was, it's probably right in the middle. It's like, it has its wacky moments, but it also has its more serious moments. And I like the ending of this one. I like the ending to this a lot more than the fucking Mario OVA ending. That was just totally shit. Anyways, guys, that does it for Blockbusters show in May. Look forward to 3 more movie reviews coming up next month. Don't want to spoil too much about what's coming up, but, you know, just going back to the basics, we're going to be doing, you know, just typical 3 movie reviews. Maybe a movie marathon. I'm going to try and save anime review for maybe July. I don't want to do that in June, seeing how we've pretty much done 2 anime reviews with this one, and last month we did the Hatsune Miku movie. But anyway, yeah, look forward to 3 new Blockbuster videos coming up next month, and until then, I'm Adam Sykes of the Blockbuster Show, and we will see you guys in the next video.
We're all watching a really, really gory horror movie. I don't remember what it was. And there's someone on TV getting stabbed in the stomach over and over. And he walks in, he goes, what the hell is this? And then Zach turns around and goes, Sonic goes to the real world, dude.